Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, friends, this is the European Meteorological Society Media Awards and Tromp Award Ceremony 2020. I'm Tanja Cignar, and I have the pleasure to moderate this event with the help of my colleagues in the EMS Media and Communication Committee. Before starting with the awards, I'm giving the floor to the President of the EMS, Professor Bert Holztag.
Hello, my name is Bert Holztag. I'm the President of the European Meteorological Society. The European Meteorological Society is strongly supporting the advancement of meteorology, climate sciences and related science fields in Europe. As such, we appreciate good examples of research and operational experiences, but we also appreciate communication and outreach of our science fields and insights. Consequently, we have 3 media awards and a Tromp Award on biometeorology. Today we celebrate the recipients of these awards with a virtual meeting. Because of the COVID pandemic, we could not organize a physical meeting last year. I would like to congratulate the recipients and thank all of you who are involved in the preparation of this meeting.
Bert, thank you very much indeed. We have 3 media awards, all of them equally important. We will start with the Outreach and Communication Award. I'm asking my colleague Inge Niedek to introduce the award.
The Outreach and Communication Award is presented to projects that explore new ways to communicate the science of meteorology, climatology, and related fields and its consequences to the general public. The winner of the 2020 award is a project called RESCCCUE. I don't know if I pronounce it correctly, but I know what it means. It means reminding Slovenian authorities climate change crisis requires urgent effort. This project is specifically remarkable because 4 Slovenian scientists managed to bring together more than 100 leading scientists in Slovenia, coming from diverse backgrounds like meteorologists, climatologists, politicians, decision makers, the media and the general public. A perfect audience needed to effectively communicate an urgent call for action to combat climate change. The younger generation will experience, in fact, the outcome of climate politics and climate development in the future. And therefore, the politicians and the society need to listen to their concerns, to the concerns of our children. The courage of your rescue team to raise awareness of the effects and impacts of climate change, and utmost important, translating science to a broad public and alerting the government and society that urgent action is necessary to combat climate change deserves special attention. In fact, with this initiative, you filled a gap, a communication gap within the society, in entire society. You really deserve this special award for your outstanding work. My congratulations to all of you. You used almost all available means of outreach and communication strategies to propagate your message. In fact, you were able to reach a wide and diverse audience across the whole country, even in politics. So that first steps to enhance political actions to combat climate change have been achieved. I strongly hope that this encouraging project will be carried on into the future with continuing support. Good luck anyway.
Thank you, Inge. And now the group of young scientists will present their project.
fellow members of the EMS, dear colleagues. We are Žiga, Lina, Nina, and Alyosha, the 4 young researchers in weather and climate sciences working at various institutions across Europe. I'd like to express our sincere gratitude for awarding us the EMS Outreach and Communication Award for our project, reminding Slovenian authorities climate change crisis requires urgent effort. I must say that the main driving force for us when we joined forces alongside my colleagues about 2 years ago, the driving force for us was the frustration. We were frustrated about the persisting ignorance about climate change and policy, in spite of years of sound scientific advice on the dangers, as well as prospective solutions to climate change. We were also frustrated about the lack of understanding and interest to learn about the fundamental physical principles from the most powerful decision makers. And finally, we were frustrated about the lack of will from our senior colleagues to speak up for science and to reassert the guiding role that science should have in the society. We believe that the scientific achievements shouldn't be limited to our research institutions and universities. Scientific advice should not end up at the bottom of bureaucrats' drawers.
For these reasons, we have started this project by writing an open letter to the Slovenian government, urging them to take action on climate change mitigation and adaptation. With this letter, we brought together over 100 Slovenian scientists in the relevant fields who supported this action, and it later received a widespread positive response in the media and general public. And we have also noticed a large interest by the decision makers. From there on, we have been active in communicating various aspects of climate change to the general public through the traditional and social media, popular scientific talks and summer schools, as well as more actively meeting with the politicians in person, or rather these days on Zoom, and providing further comments and suggestions to the decision makers through further letters, white papers, and similar.
We are convinced that every scientist should actively communicate about the climate crisis, because as scientists, we are a trusted source of information for the policymakers and the general public. So perhaps as a stimulation to other young scientists, we would like to tell a few encouraging words about our own story. Our intense collaboration started on a Friday's climate strike in Ljubljana, where Žiga came up with the idea of the aforementioned open letter, and we had the first few words written down. And only 1 month later, we united the leading researchers from various disciplines in the entire country. So we think we've really shown that far-reaching climate actions are possible if you have a clear vision and if you're well connected as a team. And it's been a great experience for the 4 of us, because we've been exchanging knowledge with many Slovene experts and we've learned a lot along the way. So hopefully the RESCCCUE project will inspire the young researchers in other European countries to proceed with similar engagement.
How to proceed with our campaign? Sure, we would like to extend our reach, and we believe that widespread activities on climate change information are crucial to foster understanding and to promote the adoption of climate change mitigation and adaptation measures. Therefore, our goal is to build on the recent success of the COVID-19 tracker called Sledilnik. The tracker has been established by a group of data enthusiasts and it includes advanced visualization of COVID-19 related parameters. It has been a national online hit during the epidemics, with around 1 million unique monthly visitors, and served as an information tool for both general audience, media outlets, and the authorities. We hope that the similar climate action tracker would provide an online platform for scientific collaboration of Slovenian geoscientists, environmental scientists, social scientists, economists, public health scientists, and many others, with the purpose to efficiently tackle and resolve the climate change issues and to promote efficient and science-based mitigation and adaptation measures. In the end, we would all like to thank everyone who supported us throughout the project, including the Slovenian Meteorological Society who endorsed this project, as well as the Slovenian Environment Agency and all other Slovenian scientists who have been helping us from the very beginning of the project. Thank you.
So nice to see a commitment and enthusiasm. Best wishes for your future projects. And now to Gerald Fleming. He will introduce the EMS Media Forecast Award.
The EMS Media Weather Forecast Award for 2020 is presented to Zoltán Üveges of the Hungarian Meteorological Service, OMSZ, for his excellence in weather presenting, as exemplified in the broadcast of May the 18th, 2020 on the OMSZ YouTube channel. In this broadcast, Zoltán provided a complete overview of the weather systems that were affecting or would shortly affect Hungary, and then used this structure to create a compelling and coherent weather story, which was easy to understand and to remember. As well as dealing with the weather itself, he explained the reason for the red dust phenomenon, which had been affecting Hungary at that time, and told how the risk of this dust would disappear over the coming days as the responsible weather systems moved away to the east. However, it was especially in the very clear and memorable use of probabilities in the forecast that the work of Zoltán was most impressive. We must recall that as well as presenting this forecast, he is responsible for designing and creating the graphics, and the combination of excellent graphics and clear description provided a wonderful explanation of the likelihoods of different weather phenomena to the viewer. The presentation style was relaxed while still paying great respect to the viewer and great respect to the content. As this was the first EMS Media Weather Forecast Award that was open to presentations on digital media, as well as those presented to more traditional forms of broadcasting, it was excellent to see that the production values of this broadcast were every bit as high as those typically used in TV weather broadcasts. The graphics were especially clear and meaningful. It's a pleasure for me to commend and to congratulate Zoltán on his well-deserved award.
Thank you very much, Gerald. When I started my career, was the TV the only source of video forecasts. But since then, a technological progress opened other channels. What is really important is to have good communication skills and clear and explanatory graphics.
Welcome to everyone. In 2020, the European Meteorological Society awarded the Media Forecast Award to the interactive media group of the Hungarian Meteorological Service that I represent here. In a predictable world, I could personally say these thanks now. But our world is not predictable at all, in fact, downright uncertain. And so are the atmosphere and the weather as well. Although uncertainty is a well-known property of the atmosphere, we forecasters are still struggling with how to communicate it. Here, at the Hungarian Meteorological Service, we strive to show the general public as many probabilistic forecasts as possible, in addition to the traditional meteorological panels. One example of this is the short weather forecast video with which we applied for this award. Making these videos, not only the forecasts, but the whole graphic content needed for the presentations were made and compiled exclusively by ourselves. We pay much attention to the reactions and needs of the audience. We try to shape the content according to the needs. We are especially pleased with this award because the jury highlighted the very same thing that we consider to be the most important when creating these videos, showing the uncertainties in the forecasts. On behalf of my team, thank you once again for this award, and if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to contact us. Thank you and stay safe.
Sziasztok, köszöntelek benneteket! Pár napra kiújul a légtömegek háborúja itt a Kárpát-medencében,
Holnap még egyértelműen a meleg délnyugatról érkező légtömeg fog diadalmaskodni, tehát az ország nagy részén nyárias időre számíthatunk, szerdától viszont pár fokot visszaesik a nappali felmelegedés mértéke, azonban áztató, országos, kiadós eső nem csak holnap, hanem a hét további napjaiban sem várható, ahogy az asszály számottevő mértékű enyhülése sem. Nézzük meg a felhőzet előrejelzésünket, ezen is azt láthatjuk, hogy holnap még déli-délnyugati lesz az áramlás térségünkben, egy mediterrán ciklon egyre több fátyol felhőt sodor az ország légterébe, ezért a nap során egyre inkább szürtebbé válik a napsütés. Ez a légörvény valamikor szerdán mozdul el majd keleti irányba, és akkor ad utat az északról, északnyugatról érkező kissé hűvösebb, és még az itt lévőhöz képest is szárazabb légtömegeknek. Az elmúlt napokban sok szó esett arról, hogy milyen magas a légkör sivatagi homok és portartalma. Most mivel az áramlás holnap még mindig délies lesz a magasban, ezért érkezhet egy újabb adag, és mivel némi csapadék is várható az ország délnyugati déli megyeiben, arrafelé különösen nem lesz még érdemes kocsit mosni, majd csak a hét közepén, amikor egyértelműen északnyugatira fordul az áramlás, és akkor, tehát csütörtök pénteken már a kontinens nagy részéről eltűnik a sivatagi por, legalábbis a légkörből. Az előttünk álló éjszaka folyamán azonban csapadék még biztosan nem lesz, és a fátyol felhőzet is épp hogy elkezd vastagodni vagy növekedni déli-délnyugati irányból, tehát a csillagok és a hold fénye inkább csak az északi, északkeleti megyékben lesz erőteljesebb. Ez a fátyolfelhőzet már meg tud óvni bennünket az erőteljesebb lehűléstől, így a hőmérséklet holnap hajnalra általában mindössze 8 és 14 fok közé csökken, tehát igen enyhe lesz a reggel. És holnap napközben még ehhez képest is sokat tud melegedni az idő, hiszen az ország nagy részén a legmelegebb délutáni időszakban a hőmérséklet eléri, vagy meg is haladhatja a 25 fokot, tehát meteorológiai szempontból is nyári időnek nézünk elébe. Azonban a fátyol felhőzet vastagodása déli-délnyugati irányból folytatódik, sőt a délután második felében az ország délnyugati harmadán már nem csak fátyol felhők, hanem gomolyok is lesznek az égen, és itt elszórt jelleggel zápor, sőt zivatar is kialakulhat. A szél általában gyenge vagy mérsékelt marad, inkább csak az intenzívebb záporok vagy zápor felhők környékén támadhat fel átmeneti jelleggel. Ugye, ahogy említettem, záporos jellegű csapadékról van szó, és területi átlagban sem lesz jelentős, még délnyugaton sem, inkább csak a délnyugati határszél közelében van jelentősebb esélye annak, hogy területi átlagban 1 mm-nyi eső hulljon, viszont az ország északkeleti kétharmadán az is kijelenthető, hogy holnap éjfélig gyakorlatilag nem lesz csapadék. És akkor nézzük a folytatást. Ennek a mediterrán ciklonnak Budapesten szinte hatása sem lesz, hiszen kedden éri el a hőmérséklet a tetőpontját, csapadék pedig gyakorlatilag nem valószínű ebből a légörvényből. Aztán a hét közepén nem csak Budapesten, hanem az ország más részein is visszaesik a hőmérséklet, különösen éjjelente, sőt péntek hajnalban az északi középhegység szélvédettebb völgyeiben akár talajmenti fagy sem elképzelhetetlen. A következő hétvégén nagy bizonytalanság mellett, ugye erről tanúskodik a fákja szórása, megint enyhébb levegő érkezik, de ez az enyhébb levegő nedves is, így megint lehet kisebb csapadék, és ez a mérsékelten meleg, néha kissé változékony időjárás folytatódik az azt követő időszakban is. Ezen hírekkel köszönöm a figyelmeteket, keressetek bennünket elérhetőségeinken úgy, ahogy eddig tettétek, és nézzétek legújabb bejegyzéseinket a Facebookon. Sziasztok!
Thank you very much indeed. And this brings me to the EMS Broadcast Award 2020. My colleague in the EMS Media and Communication Committee will introduce the awardee. Rasmus, the floor is yours.
Hello, I am Rasmus Benestad, and I am presenting the EMS Broadcast Meteorologist Award to honor life achievement of an outstanding broadcast meteorologist. The 2020 winner is Zoran Vakula from Croatia. Vakula is a meteorologist and editor of a weather program on the Croatian Radiotelevision broadcast station. His strong professional and scientific background is combined with excellence in presentation with a high level of skill and an easy communication manner evident in his broadcasts. Vakula has initiated numerous outreach initiatives, in particular his work on developing a competition and subsequent exhibition of cartoons with a weather theme stand out. This way he brought meteorology to a wider audience in a novel and entertaining fashion without trivializing the underlying science.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm curious what Zoran Vakula prepared for us. Zoran?
Poštovane kolegice i kolege, zahvalan sam i iznimno ponosan što je Europsko meteorološko društvo prepoznalo moje aktivnosti i nagradilo me ovom nagradom koju smatram za životno djelo. Mogu u mirovinu. Premda si na početku karijere nisam baš djelovao perspektivno, no iskustvo, želja i rad čine čuda. Prije točno 25 godina, najprije samo u jutarnjem programu, a ubrzo i u večernjem prime time-u. Premda sam se i tada više djelovao kao bjegunac iz kazneno-popravnog doma nego kao neki prognostičar. No, očito su mi mnogi ljudi vjerovali, a i djeca. Još uvijek se pitam zašto sam im zanimljiv. Jesam li smiješan izgledom ili onim što govorim, ili oboje. Ali trudio se jesam i još se trudim. Ne samo u povremenim dječjim emisijama, nego i u serijama, a tek u zabavnom programu. Ako se dobro sjećam, davno je bilo, još u prošlom tisućljeću, počelo je sa subotnjim večernjim prime time showom Sunce. Nastavilo se sa zabavnim kvizom Treća sreća, poznatijim i kao Križić Kružić, u kojem su gostovali glumci, pjevači i zabavljači i jedan meteorolog. Zaredale su gostovanja i u zabavnom programu, pa i večernjim talk show emisijama, te najčešće u edukativnom programu, dječjem, školskom, obrazovnom. Čak i u sportskom, kod prognoze nogometnih utakmica. Meteorologija se promovirala i u posebnim emisijama za godišnjice Hrvatske Radiotelevizije. Bio sam ponosan zbog humanitarnog djelovanja u božićnim emisijama svjetski poznatih kvizova, najprije u Milijunašu, zatim i u Potjeri, a zabavljao sam gledatelje i u Volim Hrvatsku. Za jednog meteorologa ne baš uobičajeno, kao ni sudjelovanje u Plesu sa zvijezdama. Navodno sam prvi meteorolog u svijetu koji je plesao u tom popularnom šovu. Trudio sam se približiti mlađem gledateljstvu i posebnim prognozama, čak i za natjecanje u skateboardu. A u spotu hrvatskih rock glazbenika pozivao sam mlade na izbore. Glas mi se čuo i u animiranoj Žutoj minuti, a i u hrvatskom igranom filmu Koja je ovo država. Imao sam i cameo uloge u nekim u Hrvatskoj, pa i regiji, poznatim serijama, sitcomima u kojima sam ponekad glumio sebe, meteorologa, a ponekad i druge, kao primjerice carinika iz bivše države. Poneki prilog pripremio sam i za dokumentarni program, TV kalendar, a i cijelu emisiju o dijelu hrvatskih prirodnih ljepota koju smo snimali čak tjedan dana. Ponosan sam i na kratki dokumentarni film o povijesti meteorologije na Hrvatskoj Radioteleviziji, kao i na osmišljavanje i rad na HRT Meteo aplikaciji za pametne mobilne telefone. U njoj nisu prognoze kompjuterskog modela, nego subjektivne koje pripremaju meteorolozi. I meteostrip o anegdotama iz povijesti hrvatske meteorologije moja je ideja, kao i međunarodna izložba karikatura koja se nakon pokazivanja u poznatoj Hrvatskoj galeriji nastavila na internetskim stranicama Hrvatske Radiotelevizije. I još traje. Svojevrsna nagrada za rad i zalaganje došla mi u obliku pjesme koju su osmislili i izveli poznati hrvatski glazbenici. Tjednima je bila pri vrhu ljestvice slušanosti, a nominirana je i za Hrvatsku diskografsku nagradu. A možda se jednog dana uglazbe i neki moji stihovi kojima svakodnevno pokušavam predočiti aktualnu vremensku prognozu i to u obliku rime. Naravno, pritom ne zanemarujući uobičajene meteoinformacije i globalne s različitih kontinenata, a i po mnogobrojnim europskim gradovima, te posebice Hrvatske, i to ne samo područne, nego i lokalne, i to ne samo u obliku običajnih znakova vremena i temperature, nego i posebnim prognozama, primjerice za koncentraciju peluda u zraku i biometeorološka prognoza o mogućim djelovanjima vremena na ljude. Mnogi hvale i animaciju vjetra, valova i oborine po dijelovima Jadrana, dok zbog svakodnevne primjene grafike proširene stvarnosti kod sažete sedmodnevne prognoze primam raznovrsne kritike. Srećom, samo pozitivne dolaze zbog povremenih vizualizacija za neke posebne prigode, kao što je astronomski početak zime s kojim sam osobito ponosan, kao i s projektom Meteo slikovnica, kojima sam djeci počeo dodatno približavati neke meteorološke pojmove. Ova prva je o vjetru, a u pripremi su i o suncu, kiši i snijegu. Naravno, uvijek može bolje, više, jače, ali nadam se da sam barem nekoga iz Hrvatske i okolice ovim svojim aktivnostima potaknuo na bavljenje meteorologijom i na ljubav prema prirodi i ovoj našoj zemlji, napadnutoj raznim nedaćama od kojih smo za neke i mi ljudi krivi. Budite zdravi i sretni i oprostite što sam vas zagnjavio. Ne bih da nije bilo ovoga. Hvala vam i pozdrav iz Zagreba.
Really impressive 25 years of career in the media. But this ceremony is not only about the media. We have also won an award for an outstanding scientific paper. It is the EMS Tromp Award 2020. I'm inviting the chairman of the Tromp Foundation, Bob Ritvet, to introduce the mission and purpose of the Tromp Foundation. Bob, the floor is yours.
Hi. As chairman of the board of the Selco W. Tromp Foundation, it's a pleasure and an honor for me to say a few words today at this virtual ceremony. For those of you who don't know exactly who he was a Dutchman and trained in theology at the Leiden University. During his work at the oil exploration all over the world, he became fascinated by the interaction of weather and climate with living nature. In 1955, he went back to Leiden and founded the Bioclimatological Research Center there. 1 year later, he was one of the co-founders of the International Society for Biometeorology, of which he was the Secretary General for 10 years. After he died in 1993, part of his legacy was allocated to a foundation wearing his name, Selco W. Tromp. The aim of the foundation is to promote biometeorology, especially by stimulating young investigators. Nowadays, biometeorology is of utmost importance to understand the effects of climate change, of the rise in temperature of the world. Knowledge of the mechanisms and the interaction with the living nature, including man, are of utmost importance to survive. Our mission. The mission of the foundation is to promote excellence in biometeorological science and to support young scientists to attend the conference and strengthen the network of the biometeorologists. 2020 was a difficult year. And in spite of this, we were able to select a winner of the EMS Tromp Award for an outstanding scientific paper in the field of biometeorology. Due to COVID-19, people were not able to meet in person and discuss their work. And we all know that informal contacts during a meeting is the best way to exchange ideas, get new ideas, new collaborations. In 2020, there were no travel awards, but this year, 2021, the Selco W. Tromp Foundation will support up to 6 young scientists to participate at the EMS 2021. Science does not stop without personal contacts. The program committee has made the decision that this year there will be only a virtual ceremony for the Tromp Awards. But that's not important. It's the value of winning an award that counts. On behalf of the foundation, my congratulations to all winners. And my hope is that next year we will be able to meet again, but then in person.
The EMS Tromp Awardee 2020 is Professor David Schultz. Weather is impacting almost all the aspects of our lives. But does the weather affect people's pain? Professor David Schultz focused his research on this question. Ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to Professor Schultz presenting a brief summary of his main findings and the media reaction to his study.
On behalf of my co-authors, thank you to the EMS and the Tromp Foundation for this award. Our study came from the mind of Professor Will Dixon. He is professor of digital epidemiology and a consultant rheumatologist. When meeting with patients, he would ask them how their pain has been since their last visit. Of course, people's pain fluctuates on a daily basis, and a patient cannot recall all its ups and downs over several weeks. Will had the idea to get the patients to record their daily pain in a smartphone app. We could then link this data to the weather from the closest weather station using the GPS location data in the phone. In doing so, we could then begin to answer an old and very frustrating question: does the weather affect people's pain? Why is it a frustrating question? Well, past studies have been unable to obtain consistent results, in part because of their small sample sizes. Some studies examined as few as 18 patients or collected weather data for as little as just a few days. Obviously, looking for a subtle signal, such as the relationship between weather and pain in such a small data set, would be challenging. Our idea is that if we collected a large amount of daily data from a large number of participants, we would be able to come to a more statistically rigorous conclusion. Now, the project was called Cloudy with a Chance of Pain, and over 13,000 people downloaded the app. In our study, even after 6 months into it, 15% of participants were still entering their data nearly every day. The success of this study is due to their dedication. It was their enthusiasm that made it the study that combined both the largest number of participants and being run for the longest period of time. Now, we ran the project for 15 months, and then we began analyzing the data. People reported pain on a scale from 1 to 5, so we defined a pain event as a +1 unit increase in their pain level from one day to the next. We then looked at the percentage of people across the UK reporting a pain event. This percentage ranged from 10% to 23% on any given day. We then compared the days with the highest percentages and the days with the lowest percentages. We found that on days when the highest percentage of people were reporting a pain event, a low pressure anomaly was centered over the UK. Now, this result confirms the anecdotal evidence from those who suffer with chronic pain, who say that their pain levels are related to poor weather, as might be associated with low pressure. On the other hand, on days when the lowest percentage of people were reporting pain, a high pressure anomaly was centered over the UK. Now, my study received quite a bit of attention. We had a feature article in the Washington Post, and I appeared as a guest on the Weather Channel's Weather Geeks podcast. The public reaction to our study has been one of two things. Either they thank us for showing us what they already knew and giving support to their strongly held beliefs that maybe others, including their doctors, didn't even believe. Or people said it was a waste of time because they already knew it. Of course, we don't think it was a waste of time, and neither did the 13,000 people who participated in our study. For them, the app allowed them the opportunity to document and reflect on their patterns of pain and consider the reasons why there might be flares in their pain levels. We've received so many emails and tweets of support telling us how much they appreciate being able to participate in a study like this, where they actually felt their contributions were valued and they were contributing to answering a scientific question that was important to them personally. So, to those participants in the Cloudy with a Chance of Pain project, thank you so very much for your contributions and persistence that made this award possible. I want to thank once again the EMS and the Tromp Foundation for recognizing our research with this award. We are truly honored and humbled.
Thank you very much indeed. We came to the end of the EMS Media and Tromp Awards 2020 ceremony. I hope to see you all at one of the next EMS annual meetings. In between, stay well and healthy.